That's right, this video is the war on women. I'm sorry, no one's making videos talking about this to this level of depth, but someone has to, and it's gonna be me. Women, y'all are cooked. I'm sorry. You are ruining society. It is you. It is your fault. It is your empathy, your garbage, and your smut that is ruining society. Okay, women? Pay attention. This one's for the girls out there. Not all the girls, but only about, 80% of them. All right, so Elon Musk tweets out this AI goon bot, all right, of this dude. And Whammon over here decided to lie on the internet, all right, and say, women aren't attracted to cartoons, lol. We aren't weird, low-life gooners. Well, I'm really happy that this lady decided to make this tweet, because I decided to make an entire video to destroy women. That's right. This is the anti-women video that everyone needed. Definitely subscribe if you have respect for women, but not a lot of respect for women. Okay, this is going the wrong direction. I'm going to get canceled here. This is all a joke. I love women, personally, especially one woman over all other women. I'll be real. I'll be honest. I'll be real here. Thank God my woman is awesome, all right? Now, most women are not. Most women kind of suck these days, and we're proving it today. All right, I'll be real. We're proving it today. It's your fault. All right, so check this out. So I have two pieces of my model hugging a body pillow of an anime clown pirate. Turns out people are in fact gooners. All right, so women are in fact attracted to cartoons, says the community note. And then if you look at Barnes and Noble, okay, hear me out is a section. There is an okay, hear me out section in Barnes and Nobles. And if you actually look at this image over here, it's fucking nightmare shit. It's a soul to touch with a big fucking demon creature and a small petite woman, or this thing and a small woman, or this thing or that thing, or Mothman, or getting fucked by a giant spider human, or other instances of getting raped by terrifying fucking creatures. Engaged to Mothman, motherfuckers. All right, so now that we've confirmed that women aren't fat gooners, we're gonna be talking about how this is worse than porn. All right, everyone shits on male gooners. All right, I'll be real. There is room to shit on men for this. All right, there is. But women, nah, dude, y'all are cooked. What are you doing? I'm obviously kidding. I have nothing but respect for women. God made you to do amazing things, to do wonderful things. Especially, raising a family, which is beautiful. There's this interesting poll. This was posted by Shoe on Head on Twitter. I wanted to look at this. Men who voted for Trump put having children as their #1 most important personal definition of success. 34% based men who voted for Trump. All right, women who voted for Harris. Job, career, money, emotional stability, talent, financial, having children at 6%, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. You're cooked. You're fucking cooked. You're cooked. You're gonna die alone and sad. The fucking media manipulation got to you, shit. All right, all of you fucking retards, y'all fucking losers. You're gonna die sad and alone, and you're gonna try to push this shit on other women so they can also be sad and alone. All right. Now I'm really glad we got to do this, because this poll gets worse. Women who voted for Trump, even they have financial independence at this point over children, which is 26% instead of 40%. Men who voted for Harris, where's children for them? Job, money, talents, owning children, 9%. Fucked, dude. Men who voted for Harris, fucked. Women who voted for Harris, fucked. Even women who voted for Trump. Come on, y'all. You want to die alone that badly? Are you really trying so hard to die alone and miserable? Come on, dude. What are we doing? But don't worry, because they have companionship in other places. They have fucking goon bots. And worse, they have the reason why I decided to actually make this video. Shoe on Head makes this post. Both Harris and Trump women have marriage and family lower than career. But even crazier is Harris men don't even have family and marriage higher than Harris women. They don't value it at all, which is really sad. What is going on, ladies? Correct! You see, Shoe on Head actually is married with a child and understands how fucking awesome it is. All right? How unbelievably amazing it is. It really is goated. It's actually fucking goated. Which leads me to the thesis of today. Get ready, gamers. Let me introduce you to the New York Times best-selling book. This book is very, very successful. Lock in if you were not ready. I told you this would be a fun video for me, and also for a lot of based people, and the retards are gonna scream about this. Let me introduce you to Morning Glory Milking Farm, a #1 New York Times bestseller book, a monster bait romance written by Chank Younger. Morning Glory Milking Farm. All right, I'm really glad that we're going to be talking about this today, because I'm just going to tell you what it's about. You see, Violet is a typical down-on-her-luck millennial, mid-20s, overeducated, and drowning in debt. Of course she's overeducated, obviously. On the verge of moving into her parents' basement when a lifeline appears in the form of a very unconventional job at the neighboring Cambric Creek. She has no choice but to grab it with both hands. Get it? Get it, guys? Do you get it? Do you get it, guys? Do you get it? Do you get it, guys? Both hands? Of course, she's overqualified, can't afford housing. Classic millennial. Morning Glory Milking Farms offers full-time hours, full benefits, generous pay with no experience needed. There's only one catch. The clientele is grade A certified prime beef with the manly, meaty endowments to match. It's cow people with big cocks. It's cow people with big penises. Milking minotaurs isn't something Violet ever considered as a career option, but she's determined to turn the opportunity into a reversal of fortune. When a stern, deep-voiced client begins to speak, to specifically request her for his milking sessions, maintaining her professionalism and keeping him out of her dreams is easier said than done. Milking, by the way, is getting cow men, minotaurs, to come. Okay, this I'll be real. That is what it is. They are milking male minotaurs. All right. Violet is resolved to make a dent in her student loans. Of course, student loans is very important, obviously. This is a feminist. And afford a name brand orange juice and a one-sided crush on an out-of-her-league minotaur is not part of her plan, unless her feelings aren't so one-sided after all. Morning Glory Milking Farm is a short human monster romance novel featuring a high-heat slow burn with a lot of heart. That's right, and a guaranteed fucking bullshit. CWs include, are you ready? Cock milking, non-human anatomy, size difference, and a lot of fluid. By the way, this book is not considered porn. This is literally just sold randomly in fucking Barnes & Nobles. It is the first book in the Cambric Creek Monster Romance series and can be read as a standalone. So that is the quick synopsis of Morning Glory Milking Farms. No smut tag, it's not porn, it's just basically sold generically in fucking Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble is a book, it's a store for everybody. This is on the fucking shelves, everybody. It's on the fucking shelves. Not considered porn. Because women aren't gooners, am I right, guys? Women aren't gooners. You can't milk his tits. What are you fucking milking? Now, what if I told you that the women, the fucking retards in society, the woke women, decided to drop 22-minute video essay analyses why Morning Glory Milking Farm is a critique about late-stage capitalism and toxic masculinity. Let's see the intro of this video.
Next time someone laughs at Morning Glory Milking Farm, they better ask themselves, what are you producing for the machine? And when was the last time you were milked for someone else's profit?
I'm not going to actually ask myself any of those questions, actually. I'm very tired of this entire thing, though. This whole situation is a little tiring. But don't worry, because I'm just going to skip to a part in the middle of the fucking video, because her analysis is really good.
And she knew it was inappropriate to feel a thrill over forcing a reaction from him, and even less so to register that thrill directly between her thighs, a tingle that ignited when he repeated the motion. In this text, we see that the tingling sensation in her coochie is actually the tingling sensation of a Marxist revolution.
Yeah, no, it's not actually. It's actually not anything like that. What the fuck? It's actually not like that at all. It turns out. Actually, it's about a girl getting fucked by a cow. It's actually not about the Marxist revolution. It's about a millennial. Now, the thing is, you probably think this is just goon slop, right? And it is. Don't get me wrong. It is absolutely goon slop. Now, I would not be talking about this if this wasn't like a New York Times bestseller. All right. Now, it's not just goon slop. It's woke feminist goon slop. So I found this guy. He reads an excerpt from this book, and it might be the worst thing you'll ever hear.
It is frying their brains. Let me read an excerpt from Milking Farm here. All right, geez. And when the bill arrived, she'd attempted to pull a handful of carefully folded bills from her wristlet before he stopped her. No, that's absolutely not happening. Put that away. She'd not thought about it until the day after their first dinner together.
Right.
Realizing in mortification that she ought to have attempted to pay her half.
That's right.
What kind of feminist are you?
That's right. What kind of a feminist? You're not even going to pay for the fucking dinner of the cowman that's fucking you? You're not even gonna pay for that. Then what kind of a feminist are you? You're a strong, independent woman. I mean, I know that your job is literally jerking off cows, but why wouldn't you pay for the? You're a strong, independent woman.
She's thinking, right? It's in italics for the listeners. She couldn't remember the last time she'd been out and hadn't paid for her half, including her coffee date with Carson Tinsley.
That's right. She always pays.
Which accounted for how infrequently she went anywhere. She had come prepared that night, several weeks of her tips smooth and tucked into her wristlet. But I didn't even offer to pay half the other night, and I should have. Violet. If the commanding rumble of his voice hadn't silenced her, the heat of his hand dropping to her knee would have. I don't want you to
The Minotaur has Riz, all right?
Feel that you don't have any agency here.
Of course, because the Minotaur is also a feminist. Male feminist Minotaur wants her to understand that she has agency to pay if she wants to, because she is independent.
I might be the one giving all the orders, but you hold all the cards.
Of course, she is actually in charge because she is the strong, independent woman. He is the lib-cuck feminist Minotaur who goes to fucking breeding facilities.
Comfort is the only thing that counts right now, and if I overstep, I want you to know that you can tell me so, but that's not happening.
All right, so this is obviously the dream guy. I wonder why women aren't so interested in dating. I wonder what the fuck propaganda is going on that are getting women to not actually feel like they could date your average dude.
Don't think I'm unaware we're at different points in our careers. You can say no. You can say you don't want to see me again. You can tell me to stop coming to the farm when you're working.
That's right.
It's dinner, not a down payment on your time. But I'm in a position to comfortably spoil someone. So when you're with me, I'm spoiling you. End of story.
That's right. So she's the feminist power fantasy, and simultaneously getting spoiled by a rich feminist Minotaur.
She was a good feminist, she told herself, and she definitely couldn't be bought. But if he had suggested at that moment that he would have appreciated a blowjob, dude, this is raw.
Oh my god, dude, stop! I am a feminist, but if he wants a blowjob, okay. So enough of the excerpt. We're done. We are actually done here. It turns out we're done. But she would have fallen face first on his cock with an open mouth without a shred of hesitation. Is the final sentence of this book. Now, again, to be clear, this is not porn. All right, this isn't supposedly erotic 18+ fiction. This is a New York Times bestseller, literally on the fucking shelves in Barnes & Noble. So this is porn, all right? This is fucking porn, all right? I don't want to sit here and fucking make believe that it's not porn. It's fucking porn, and it's not only porn. I think it's attacking these women emotionally. It is emotionally attacking these people, dude. I'll be real here. Man porn and woman porn are different. Man porn is, I think, purely physical, hot tits, dude busts. All right, I don't think it's healthy, personally, but that's what it is for man. It's not some sort of emotional attachment. When it comes to woman porn, holy fucking shit, it's this entire emotional attachment to the Minotaur milky. All right, the Minotaur milker over here is this strong, independent feminist guy. This is fucking insane. Now, anyway, I found this video. All right, the absolute degeneracy of modern writing. So I wanted to do a deep dive. All right, I wanted to see a woman break this apart. Personally, I wanted to see a woman break this this situation apart because realistically, I've seen enough feminist Minotaur blowjobs today, and I honestly want to kill myself. So yeah, women are kind of fucked these days, and we wonder what happened to them, guys. What happened?
When I started this channel, it was largely because I had been noticing a broad decline in storytelling in general and literature in particular.
Yeah, you don't say.
A decline that began a lot longer ago than most people think. And my aim has always been to help, insofar as I am able, to remind writers of the true fundamentals of storytelling.
All right, love
and
that.
to hopefully elevate their craft into something that isn't beholden to current market trends, nor controlled by the fleeting tastes of book talk or bookstagram or what.
Look, man, I am not like super well into the romantic-y fucking feminized women genre. All right, I am not. I remember when you used to show random YouTube shit like this, and I always made fun of it, and I'm still making fun of it. I actually have consistently always made fun of it, and I don't think I've ever shown anything as fucked up as this, to be honest.
Ever. However, I've been noticing that there are a lot more aspects that have been contributing to the decline of literature besides just a lack of understanding.
Literature, and you know what came with it? The decline of women. I don't know, it's not a coincidence! Fucking hell, dude.
Regarding the fundamentals. Today, I would like to focus on one of the most glaring issues plaguing modern publishing.
All right, let's do it. Smut, baby. All right. Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. All right, let's go.
Something you hear a lot is that women have come to dominate the literary world more and more. We'll look closer at those numbers later, but for now I think we can all agree that female writers have achieved fame and success comparable to a lot of their male predecessors and contemporaries.
I mean, look at fucking Minotaur Milking Farm. That shit was not written by a man, right?
But
that shit was not written by a man, right? There's no fucking way that shit was written by a man. There's no fucking way. Hold up. If it was written by a man, dude's a genius. CM Nascosta, whoever the fuck that is. I would want to use a pen name personally. I personally would not want to make that my actual name. All right, who the fuck is this guy? How do I find him? Yep, it's a woman. All right, we found her. She's in fact a whammon. I am personally surprised. All right, from Ohio. Look at that. It doesn't get any better than that. It doesn't get any better. All right, good. W. We take those.
Female writing, which is most often presented as proof of this, is things like this, despite the fact that there have always existed things like this.
Sure.
There's
always been romance, but shit's gotten fucking crazy.
Of the opinion that the literary world is so rife with corruption and ideologies that any observation along these lines is meaningless. Generally, across the board, it isn't really men or women who dominate the literary world, it's ideologies and popular trends in social politics, whatever those might be at a given time. Historically, a lot, not all, but a lot of the most widely celebrated female writers,
that's it,
especially within the
They're so brave! They're so brave for pushing boundaries and writing a story about a feminist who's independent and getting fucked by a cow. So brave. They're so brave. Damn, they're totally not going to die alone or anything with an ideology like that. Absolutely not. This is making them happier and stronger women.
Within 21st centuries have been at the bleeding edge of social and political progressivism. Yeah. To my mind, this makes it less about being a woman and more about being an acolyte of a particular ideology. Like I said though, not always, just most of the time. Nevertheless, it is somewhat...
To be honest, I don't actually give a shit if it's a man or if it's a woman that wrote a book. I actually literally don't care. I only care if the book is good. I don't know why... I personally don't give a flying fuck who wrote the book or whatever, okay? I enjoyed Harry Potter, even though it was written by J.K. Rowling, a whammon, so I guess I can't be all bad or something. Oh, but never mind. J.K. Rowling actually is anti-trans, so never mind. That's not a good example. She's actually based.
True that right now women somewhat dominate the publishing industry. First of all, some housekeeping. Apparently, I will be punished in some mysterious way if I use a certain word in my videos. This word has 4 letters, starts with a P, ends with an N, and there's also an O and an R in there too. So for the course of this video, I'll have to refer to it differently. I'm going to use adult entertainment or adult videos or explicit videos. None of these words quite have the same meaning, but you and I both know what we're talking about here, so let's just make do. All right, to start with, let's just push aside any conversation about taste. This is not going to be a video about what I like or don't like to read.
Don't care about taste.
What I am offering you in this video is not my opinion or my reading preference, it is facts. And the first thing we need to establish is that all this so-called romance fiction and most, if not all, of the current women's literature out there is not women's literature. It's, as a woman, the most common defense I hear for romance fiction, especially the romance fiction that is so prevalent.
The best excuse for romance fiction is, well, I feel like you really get captured in the story. It's fucking porn, okay? It's so annoying. Can we just admit it, please? Can we please just fucking admit it? All right. It's about women that want to get married to Mothmen and fucked by minotaurs. All right, they can't make any connections with an actual man in their life, so they're getting married to ChatGPT and fucking minotaurs, literary minotaurs on the side. All right, get me the fuck out of here. Look, man, there's always been fiction and romance, or romance and fiction rather. No one cares. Okay, this is not the issue. How to mount your dragon is not the fucking type of shit that anyone wants to fucking see. All right, my husband is a werewolf billionaire. What the fuck is this genre? It's literally just sad. And people, honestly, you know what? I'm gonna say it like this. And I mean it with my whole heart. If you found out that a man was watching fucking simulated rape porn, all right, you would think he's a fucking freak. This is the same fucking thing, and it's out in the open, and people aren't shaming these women enough. Sorry, that's my opinion.
Today is that it is literature for women. Whenever anyone tries to express...
Yeah, men are better authors, actually, in my opinion. I know you're probably going to think that that's pretty mighty sexist of me, but I'm just saying, as far as books I've seen that are written by men versus books that are written by women, I like a lot of books that are written by women, but statistically, I like the books that are written by men better. I don't want to be rude here, but imagination-wise, I've just seen better books written by men. This is just my opinion. I'll give you some examples of fantastic books written by women. I think my favorite book written by a woman is A Brotherhood, all right? The actual original FMA manga written by a woman. Fantastic fucking story, all right? So obviously, it exists. However, when I see books written by women, the majority is fucking shit like this.
Some concern about these genres or the nature.
Or maybe I'm just biased because I'm a man.
Of their content, that person is immediately condemned for being anti-woman or anti-women's literature. The idea being...
I am not anti-woman or anti-women's literature. I am anti-shit. And I am anti-degeneracy in society, all right? I am anti-women, feeling like it's better to have a relationship with a fictional minotaur than actually getting married and building a life.
That these types of books are not just popular among women, but that they define womanhood. And to be opposed to them in any way is to be opposed to women. Women such as myself who are critical of these books are often said to be suffering from internalized misogyny.
Oh, that's right. Every woman that actually wants to do something that's good in their life, right? Every woman out there that's doing their absolute best to actually build a family or something, they're considered internalized misogynists. That's right. You're a woman that's trying to actually build a family and, you know, do the thing that women have done for literally all of history that has made them happy and proud. That thing, yeah, fuck that, I guess.
The reality about all this is that it isn't a question of woman versus anti-woman or even woman versus man. The issue here is probably one of the oldest ones in existence. It's the normalization of explicit adult entertainment. Whether it's women or men who are trying to do that is pretty irrelevant.
I mean, I agree with this partially. I think there's another part to it, which is the actual trickle-down effect this actually has on society. Like, instead of actually having a girl that wants to build a romantic relationship with a man and build a family and a dynasty with a man and be emotionally connected to a man, you have women that are instead getting emotionally attached to AI or getting emotionally attached to fucking unbelievable metric tons of smut shit in novels, right? And so realistically, when you see all of that garbage, it's not actually that surprising. I think that that's the major problem here. I think it actually is a trickle-down effect on society at large.
Because the number one reason anyone has ever tried...
Woman, I'm just letting you know, you want a happy life? Any women watching this that want a happy life? Do not wait until you date a fucking feminist minotaur. It's probably not gonna happen.
To normalize this kind of, you know, explicit content is money. But ahead of myself. First of all, we need to establish this fact very, very clearly. Women's literature is not, you know, just some randomly horny trend in the book industry. In that sense, outside of a handful of odd entries here and there, women's literature doesn't exist. Women haven't taken over the literary world. A four-letter word starting with P has taken over the literary world.
True.
Barnes & Noble and every other major and independent bookseller, especially all those new romance bookshops, have now just become another kind of adult entertainment store.
True.
And no...
Except it doesn't get the social stigma, which it should.
Well, that's not a good thing. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This is not XXX adult entertainment. This is. You are actually incorrect. For a man, average man.
All right, let's go! Dude, I love me a woman that actually understands a thing or two about biology. Damn, women that understand that men and women are physiologically different are goated. What can I say? It's a low bar, but so many people trip on this bar.
An explicit depiction of a sex act might not really get the job done. Men typically tend to gravitate towards seeing the act on the screen in one form or another. Women have always, on average, preferred to read it, even if some do end up hooked on the filmed version. The female mind has pretty much the same reaction, generally speaking, to the written version. In fact, written erotic content tends to have even more of an impact on the minds of women than filmed erotic content. Why? Because men and women engage with media in fundamentally different ways. When it comes,
it's not just media. I think it's a physiological difference that women are inherently, their minds are attached more to emotion, and men are a lot more, you know, inclined to being either more up in their head or the physical. Right? So, you know, man, like, again, we could keep doing this forever. We could keep having this discussion literally forever. But realistically, that is a fundamental difference between men and women. And that's just it.
To adult entertainment, your simple, straightforward two people banging video isn't really going to do much of anything for a woman, generally speaking. There have been numerous studies done regarding female sexuality or the differences between male and female arousal, and generally across the board, they'll tell you that women require what is sometimes called mental mapping to be sexually aroused. That is, there needs to
Great.
be more story and more opportunity for her to feel empathy. That's just
Look, man, anyone that's actually been in a relationship knows this. Like, she's explaining it because I guess the average person these days, unfortunately, is sad and alone because society is pushing women to rather have, emotional sex with fake minotaurs than actually getting into a relationship. But anyone that's actually been in a relationship knows this. And literally anyone that's in a relationship knows this. That the emotional connection between a man and a woman is literally the most exciting part for a woman. All right? And that's just how it is, man. That's just how it is. A man can goon with, if he sees a pair of boobs. Not even a pair of boobs. A curvy stick could get a man to fucking come. All right? I'll be real. It's not trying to be rude here or anything, but, like, literally. A woman needs 4 hours of foreplay. All right? Or, a relationship. Dude, you say to your wife, I love you, and she will get wet. This is an actual life hack. I am giving you a life hack right now. You tell your wife, I love you, she gets wet. That's just reality, okay? I'm not trying to be rude here, but this is life. It comes from an emotional place, much more.
how it is for
But whatever, they don't actually care.
woman. Empathy is a huge factor for women in all aspects of their lives, but yes, especially when it comes to erotic media. With written explicit content as opposed to your typical material found on the hub, it's a lot easier for the woman to imagine herself as the female in the scene.
Obviously.
In addition, as I said, women require an emotional element to their erotic content that is almost impossible in the simple filmed scenes that can so easily do it for men, typically. That is to say, watching Mrs. Smith bang the mailman while her husband is at work is plenty for most men, but a woman will want to know the
Curvy piece of driftwood, man. I'm telling you, bro.
whole story. She'll want this sexual tension that builds up between Mrs. Smith and the mailman over several encounters, the dangerous possibility that her husband might come home any minute.
You want to know something absolutely diabolical? Something absolutely diabolical? All right, I'm going to tell you something, and it's going to shake your mind. You know how women watch, like, infinite detective shows? Like, just detective shows where every fucking season is exactly the same. And they will fucking sit there, and they will watch every fucking season of every detective show, and they're all the same. Every single one. They even use the same actors half the time. Right? They will watch every single one of these detective shows every time. Doctor shows. It's like, bro, you just finished House. How did you start Grey's Anatomy? It's all the same shit. No, it's totally different. And because for them, it's the fact that the different detectives are going to be in different relationships. That is like a big part of it. For me, it is easily the most boring part of every detective show and every doctor show. If I'm gonna watch a fucking detective show, I want interesting crime shit. I don't care if Detective Fuck Nuggets is cheating on Detective Lentis Puerta and having an affair with the other fucking detective. I literally don't give a shit. I don't care. I don't care. But for some reason, some people like it. And it's like, I can't believe that they got divorced, detective. Of course they got divorced! Because they need to be in a different relationship in the next season! Oh my god, they're all the same! It's slop! I can't believe he had an affair with the fucking stripper while the she was having an affair with the other guy, and then it's so awkward and everyone has to fucking hide and lie and whoopsie poopsie, they figured it out! Is it gonna make a difference in our work-life balance? No one fucking cares! But apparently women do. All right, I'll be real. Apparently women do care, actually, it turns out. But for me, it's just actually time sponge slop. The purpose of this tangent was the emotional foreplay is so much more powerful for women than it is for men. And everyone knows this, and they are maximizing by basically making what is porn, adult content for men. They are essentially making that as all ages books for women. They are publishing this everywhere. Literally everywhere. Barnes & Noble's, front shelf.
explicit fact that the mailman chose her over all of the other housewives on the street, and so on.
And I'll be real, that shit is not healthy. It's not healthy for your mind. Just like I think men that watch violent porn, for example, I think it makes their actual sexual experiences less sensual and affect them less. And therefore, because of something like that, their actual sex life with their actual partner ends up taking a hit. And I do think that porn is not a good thing for men in general. I think it's the same exact thing for this, like, contrived emotional bullshit that women go through when they read, Minotaur Breeding Ground. Who the fuck are you gonna date now? You're never gonna date anyone that's gonna be quite as good as the 10'6" feminist Minotaur that respects you but also pays for your lunch. That you are forced against your will because of Marxism and capitalism. You're forced to fucking milk his cock every day until you love him. The fuck shit ass bitch wrote that crap? Yeah. I wonder why I can't actually find someone that loves me. Yeah, no fucking shit.
And so on. A woman would also prefer some kind of story to bind it all together. That's just how women are.
That's right.
If you put explicit sex scenes into a novel-length story, it's going to hit a woman's mind in much the same way the top video on the hub hits a guy. As I said, that's just how women are. A lot of men might hear this and be a little dubious. And in fact, I've found that a lot of men, while they might raise their eyebrows a little at just how explicit women's books have become in recent years.
This is the shock to me. This is what I didn't know. All right, this was the big surprise. When I saw that this was the #1 bestseller, I just saw the cover, fucking Minotaur ass bitch milking farm. I was like, what the fuck is happening? I read the description and I lost my shit. And I started going down this rabbit hole. I had no idea it was this explicit. I had no fucking idea. And these are the people that are pushing the boundaries of feminism. They're so brave and so amazing. This is unreal.
They won't really go as far as to categorize them the same way as, you know, the kind of thing you'd find on the hub. Male writers certainly find such classification baffling, but let me break down how this works for women. If you look at your average popular romantasy book, those books that have dominated book sales for a few years now, and which are among the worst offenders when it comes to wildly explicit content, the explicit scenes coincide with the story to some degree. Now, the authors of these stories will tell you that these sex scenes are there for
Throne of Glass. I heard of that book. I never read it.
narrative purposes.
Yeah, Sarah J. Maas. She's apparently like the person that kickstarted this entire like relatively explicit genre.
They serve either plot development or character development. I don't think that's necessarily true, but let's go with it. Keep in mind what I said about how women engage with erotic content versus how men do. Let's take Sarah J. Maas, for example. I shouldn't have to tell you who she is and why she's relevant to this conversation, but if you don't know, let me just say that she's the woman responsible for the books commonly referred to as. Skilled writers such as Maas understand how the story shape of all aspects of storytelling affects reader engagement. We've talked about this before on this channel. Stories, and even their individual components, must have a story shape. That is, at least one character trying to achieve a goal with some kind of opposition to that goal.
It's crazy to even think about how far we've fallen since this basic metric. All right, so let's apply this. Let's apply this.
Culminating in a mini climax in which the character achieves success or failure, or some unexpected thing happens.
All right, so let's use this analogy for our favorite Minotaur milking farm. All right, so she's trying to make a living in a brutal capitalist society, but there's resistance. Capitalism is preventing her from actually living her life the way she wants to, and then she marries a fucking billionaire Minotaur with a big cock. What has happened to us?
In which the character achieves success or failure, or some unexpected thing happens. That's a story shape. Maas is actually pretty good at using this story shape to create fairly well-paced, if highly formulaic stories that really draw the reader in. I mean, anyone can write smut, but not everyone can sell millions of copies worldwide. Whether or not her stories are good stories, I don't. The point is, she understands how the thing works. But then she applies...
No, you clearly are anti-feminist. Yes, I am, actually. Good point. I'm really glad you mentioned that. Feminism is cancer. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. It's cancer. It's ruining women. It's ruining women and fucking over men. Not literally, obviously. There's a lot less fucking going on. Or more fucking, depending. Like, it's... The fucking, it's worth less. Each fuck is worth less. But the math comes out that there's a lot more just standard fucking. They're so brave. They're so brave, guys. They ruined the whole generation because of how brave they are and how much their boundaries they're pushing. They're so good of them to do this. Yeah.
The same story shape to her sex scenes. Nice. Of course, I shouldn't have to tell you how sex scenes themselves have a story shape. She has stated in many interviews that she endeavors to make sure her sex is plot relevant. A big way she does that is to have the erotic scenes take place at the come down immediately after a major plot mini climax.
Makes sense. The good guys and the bad guys get into a war. The war wins. They have sex. It makes sense. It's easy. It's an excuse to put sex scenes in. Wow, so smart.
Incorporates the emotional release of the narrative with the sexual release of the erotic scene. She stated
I'm telling you, man, I have to write some fucking, like, obviously parody novel that's just, like, uber gross and publish it just to see how many copies I could sell of the shit. Like, just unbelievable. Like, the main character will be the Ice King from Adventure Time, obviously. And he's going to be going around there, you know, I'm not going to say it's the Ice King, but we'll all know it's the Ice King. And he's going to go out there, and we're just going to see. We're going to see how many novels I could sell. I'll just make it obvious slop. All right, we'll see. All right, look at that. And men and women are both lonely. I wonder how that happened. Right? The women are going to blame men for not being manly enough or for voting for Trump and being Nazis, and the men will blame women. And realistically, it actually is both people's faults. Mostly the women.
She often tries to make the significant sex scenes.
No, that was a joke. It's obviously both people's fault. It really is. It's about both sides. Especially women, because they voted this shit.
Such as that 2 or 3 day sex marathon occur at the close of equally significant plot arcs. This is ideal for the female brain, which already seeks a story shape even in sexually explicit content. But from a reader engagement plus female adult entertainment perspective, this means that Mass has doubly hooked her female readers. The story and the extremely explicit content have become inextricably linked, and the explicit aspects have been delivered via the story in precisely the most ideal way necessary to capture the infatuation of the female reader. Another interesting thing to note, if you're not yet sold on the fact that all of this so-called women's lit is little more than 4-letter word starts with P, have a look at how much women's fiction has become subject to categorization norms that you don't see.
Oh, what the fuck?
With P, have a look at how much women's fiction has become subject to categorization.
Enemies to lovers, fae, fantasy, magic, royal hero, take charge heroine, tortured hero, fated mates, alpha male, war, bad boys, love triangle. These are genres! These are subgenres! Oh my fucking god, we're so cooked. We're so fucking cooked.
Norms that you don't see outside like the hub or fan fiction, which has become just another form of debauched adult entertainment. Sure, yeah, okay, fan fiction that isn't smut does theoretically exist, I guess, but that's like saying there are non-explicit OnlyFans creators. Within those spheres, the common term used for this categorization is a narrative one or even a literary one. Trope. People talk about tropes all the time.
Yeah,
tropes are fine. There's nothing wrong with them. They're a common tool for literary analysis. A little reductive, a little ridiculously overutilized, but benign in themselves. But the important factor to note here is this. When it comes to women's arousal, they need far more specific things than men do. So a woman's sexual entertainment tastes will always be 1,000 times more specific than a man's. So when a woman seeks out a new book, she'll look for specific cocktails of tropes for that thing she needs to feed her specific hungers.
That's it.
Or I guess
they're fucking genres, all right? Everything has genres, everything has subgenres. It's insane, bro. It's insane that we're dealing with this shit.
yes. Thirsts. A quick perusal of the book recommendation section of the romance books subreddit will destroy any remaining illusions you might have had that these books are about anything other than sexual arousal. Just take a moment and look at some of these. Can you honestly say that this attitude towards women's fiction has to do with anything other than sex? I spent
Redheads. Redheads. Give me redheads. This is a fucking book. It's a book. There's no pictures. It's just a book. Give me redheads. It's literally just it's a book. It's pages. It's words on a page. It's black letters on a white sheet. Give me redheads, she says. Give me redheads. Please find someone with the redhead. Just imagine that the hair is red. Well, what the fuck does this even mean? What does this even mean? Eye color doesn't matter, motherfucker. What is going on? It's a book. It's a book. They're so cooked. They're so cooked. Looking for monster romance with irregular appendages? Hardcore enemies to lovers where he unintentionally hurts her physically and instantly gets completely overprotective.
a little time while I was researching this subject, talking to women and reading the...
And then they'd be like, I can't believe men are such degenerates. They're just so lonely. They're such losers. Men are just sitting at home playing video games. Now don't bother me while I fucking read Daddy Mommy Minotaur Milking Farm.
Counts of women who were struggling with the addiction to hardcore content. A solid 90 to 95% of them started with erotic fiction, or smut, as they often called it, and fan fiction. A few stated that they didn't really ever get into videos, often because videos couldn't feed their precise needs. Several mentioned that they had quit the video content only to fall back on erotic fiction, and had happily arrived at the realization that there was functionally no difference between the two. I read an account from one woman who noted that she preferred written smut because within books and fan fiction she was able to find things that would have been illegal in video form.
They just admit it, guys. They just admit it. And then they call out men. They say, I can't believe men are such losers. We have such a loser epidemic. The fucking retards. Who was it? One of these allegedly conservative women. Tommy Lauren. That was her name. Tommy Lauren, men losers. I remember this so clearly. Unbelievable. Fuck. Let me see if I can find this. Okay, never mind. There's a million of these clips. Oh, Shuan had made a video about this. This is the way. This is the way. I found the way, boys. I found the way.
A Wall Street Journal headline got our attention. The new dream job for young men, stay-at-home son. It's a phrase that's taken off since 27-year-old Brendan Leo won $59,000 on Jeopardy, and he has a master's degree in political science.
Yeah, I don't care.
Look at what young women have to choose from. The pickings are slim. Yes, we might have a feminism problem in America, but it's the feminization of men. There are a lot of young women out there that want to get married. They want to have kids. They want to have stable families. But there are a lot of young men out there who want to live in mama's basement and order DoorDash.
Yeah, we're fucked. We're fucked, man. These women in media are diabolical. Shoehead's amazing. But everyone else, they're diabolical.
So that's nice. I learned too that there was a worryingly large subset of these women, some as young as 17, whose taste became so depraved so quickly that they were now suffering from something called POCD. I'll let you look that one up yourself.
We're looking that one up ourselves. POCD, what's that? POCD, pedophile-themed obsessive-compulsive disorder. This isn't real. They're reading fucking pedophile books? This is a thing? What is pedophile-themed obsessive-compulsive disorder? Dude, is this real? Intrusive, unwanted sexual thoughts, images, sensation around children. Bro, stop. Stop. Jail. Fuck, dude. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing, dude?
Several women and teenagers were
yeah, apparently in the book there's that shit.
Marked that they wished they had never started reading erotic fiction when they were younger, as they believed it had
That's the craziest part. When they were younger. You have to realize these are on every fucking news out. This is everywhere. It's literally fucking everywhere. It's unfathomably popular. It's on the front shelves of bookstores. It's in the windows of bookstores. What do you think the girls are talking about at school? Talking about fucking milking animals and minotaurs. Bro, no. I want Blade to breed me. I want his puppies, please. I want the leash. I want the collar. I'm drooling. Woof, 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 woof. Bark, bark. Yep. That's what we're dealing with now, baby.
Destroyed their lives. The thing is, just as with people's tastes in hardcore video subgenres, these tastes, these hungers, will intensify over time. The same mechanic is at play as you see in men who have to constantly seek harder and harder filmed content in order to even be aroused. For that reason, more and more women's fiction has been including very, very dark material, be it
necrophiliac,
disturbing age gaps, torture, abuse, even...
What the fuck is going on?
Women don't start out
romances with forced seduction or rape by the hero! Bro.
Out wanting fantasy fiction. That's something that happens over time as they become desensitized to more mainstream
I'm telling you, man, the woke people are the demons of society. To quote Asmongold's evergreen tweet, the biggest threat to America isn't the Hamas, Venezuelan gangs, or violent migrants. It's upper middle class, primarily white women who would import all of the above to destroy the country in order to satisfy their suicidal empathy. They're so strong and brave. They're so brave and strong. Bro, we gotta bring the patriarchy back, guys.
Content. I don't know how many videos and reviews I've seen by very young teenage girls who say the explicit sex in Sarah J. Maas's books is very mediocre and vanilla. That would be because they're already desensitized and crave harder content. Honestly though, by now I should have convinced you that these books are merely mass-produced hardcore adult entertainment and that their readership consumes them in much the same way one would consume any other form of, four-letter word starts with P, and that the result of that consumption, especially on a large enough scale and on a long enough timeline, is pretty much the same as any other form of hardcore entertainment addiction. So let's move on. Now, let's assume that you can get someone to concede that, yes, this is all, a written form of the same kind of crap you'd find on the hub.
Yeah.
At that point, what happens is someone will insist that this is somehow the ethical type of adult entertainment. We'll get to that.
Dude, just because there's no quote-unquote victim, it doesn't make it ethical. It's ruining these people's lives. Like, it's ruining their lives, their relationships. It's normalizing an impossibility. It's crazy.
Or they'll start trying to argue that this kind of written explicit content has positive effects.
Bro,
I've heard all these
what?
arguments. I've heard people say that the heavy amount of sex in these books creates some kind of sex-positive environment for female empowerment.
Oh, miss me with that garbage! This whole sex-positive shit is such a fucking scam. It's whores trying to make believe that it's not bad that they're whores. Sorry, bro. Ya hoes! Y'all hoes! I hate this shit. Oh, it's a positive, sex-positive environment. You're a whore! You're a whore. Now, if you don't think that's a problem, you shouldn't get offended by what I'm calling you.
I've heard people say that books like these increase readers' empathy, as I've said.
We need less empathy in society immediately. Someone kill the empaths. This is fucking insane! One of the biggest issues with society is the empaths.
I'd been told that objecting to literature like this is inherently anti-women. First of all, let's talk about empathy and the chemical reaction romance novels have on the female brain. There are so few studies that have been done on adult film's impact on women and almost zero studies that have been done on erotic literature's impact on women. This is one of the most criminally understudied areas in human existence. Something I hear all the time is that romance novels increase the reader's empathy. I doubt it's that simple, but let's say it is.
Oh, I have so much empathy for the poor Minotaur that's getting milked by the Gen Z woman that's just trying to live in society.
Women are empathetic by default. That is not something that romance literature gives.
It is a very powerful thing. I think the fact that women, I agree with her. I do think women are more empathetic than men, and I think it's an unbelievable thing. I think it makes women better mothers. I think it gives women unbelievable qualities. And also, I think it means that they're not fit to be judges in America. The amount of repeat offenders are insane. I'm sorry. I like, it's insane that we're dealing with this shit. Come on. Every time I see some guy arrested 14 times, murder someone, then it's like, yeah, it was a female judge by coincidence. Like, come on, guys. Look, I'm just saying. That's how we were made, okay? All right, I'm not trying to be rude here or anything, but we're literally living the Cuck Chronicles, getting absolutely destroyed by these empathetic people that are inviting violent people into our country. Sorry to say the quiet part out loud. I think that women being empathetic is a powerful positive. But it just means that men or women are different.
Women. It heightens it, certainly, but as in all emotions, a heightened state of anything is usually very bad. Heightened empathy reduces a person's logical response and cognitive reasoning. It makes it difficult to...
She's so right. She's so right. Women are overly empathetic. Oh, no, not overly. Are more empathetic than men, and it does compromise their logical reasoning. Dude, she's spitting. She's spitting facts. Now, let's apply this in other areas as well, okay? I'm really glad. Let's apply this in other areas. Now that we have a woman saying it as well, all right, let's apply it a little further.
Regulate the emotional response with reason. Heightened states of empathy have been found to contribute to pain, depression, anxiety, emotional overinvolvement, burnout.
And that's why you have women on TikTok fucking crying every time Trump arrests somebody. Trump deports a rapist, and it's like, no! The poor rapist being deported just because of the color of his skin! And then you have these fucking freakos on TikTok losing their mind.
Vicarious trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, right out of the gate, the fact that romance books heighten empathy in readers is proof that despite the intentions of the writers, these books arouse readers, whether they want to be aroused or not, which is an unsettling thought all by itself. So, imagine you're a young woman and you're reading...
Yeah, I'm talking about the leftist, the libtards on TikTok. It's a libtard exclusive problem. Because I think right-wing women, for the most part, understand that, yes, men and women are biologically and physiologically different, and that's not a bad thing, and we don't have to make believe that there's no such thing as different genders and everything. We're all just amorphous blobs that exist somehow. So I happen to think it's a very liberal, exclusive psychopathy.
A steamy romance in which the main female character is being mistreated in some way by the male character, and this female character feels arousal at this mistreatment.
Gross.
Written well,
That's horrible. Just the way she phrased it. Because, again, it's a book, right? So if a girl in a book gets raped, and then the writer is like, and it turned her on, what the fuck does that do to the reader? Holy shit. Poor Minotaur cuck.
Arousal on the part of the female character will trigger empathetic arousal in the female reader.
Yeah.
A young, inexperienced woman will then be troubled trying to understand why she's feeling aroused by what is borderline abusive behavior. However, the story will continue in this vein until the man and woman are living happily ever after. The moment of joy at the end is the emotional climax that is essential for a woman to fully enjoy an erotic romance. And no, I'm not saying women are super weak or something like that, but I think we can all agree that strong emotions...
Yeah, we're not saying that women are weak. We're not saying. That is not being said here. Minotaur deserved better.
Emotions are exhausting no matter who you are, and women are more prone to feel emotions strongly. An empathetic response to a romance book will result in an emotional roller coaster designed specifically to ensnare the tastes of women in such a way that their emotional involvement in a story will tend to be more intensive than a man's on average. Add to that the sexual infatuation triggered by the addictive erotic release of the extremely explicit scenes, which also takes a toll on the mind whether you enjoy these scenes or not, especially if you do. I don't really understand why more people aren't aware of how intensely bad these books are for women's minds.
I'm telling you, man, this is the big shock for me. This is literally what shocked the shit out of me. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you literally all the way.
I don't really read romance, smutty or otherwise, but I did read quite a few of these books when I was trying to understand the genre better. And something that really surprised me was how huge of an emotional impact they had on me, despite the fact that I didn't care.
Holy fuck. So she went into these books to criticize them, and she ended up emotionally hooked. Dude, that's fucking crazy. That's insane. Holy fucking shit, dude.
Care about these characters, and despite the fact that they were all mostly happy endings and everything else, I was legitimately depressed during the few weeks when I was reading these books. I was
literal drugs, dude. Oh my god, literal fucking drugs. And yes, I know what she means. Sometimes you just end up getting depressed with the slop that you end up consuming. It just makes you feel like shit. I totally relate. I mean, not to this degree, because I've never experienced something like that where you just read a book that's kind of just slop and it just makes you sad and depressed. But it's real. You know when sometimes you watch something and you're like, wow, I wish I could have that, and I'm so alone. Thank God I'm very grateful for where I am right now, but this is crazy.
Having trouble focusing on my work.
And you wonder why these women are fucking mentally retarded, that they can't actually have some sort of relationship and don't want a relationship. It's literal propaganda. It's emotionally stimulating propaganda.
Having trouble sleeping.
But then the man nuts and he's fine. That's the difference, all right? Listen, again, I'm not telling you to spill your seed in vain or anything, but the dude fucking nuts and it's over. It's post-Nux clarity goes crazy.
I was even having trouble eating, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong until it dawned on me that my mind was basically being ripped around a female-specific roller coaster that was designed to trigger the most extreme emotional and chemical reaction in my mind, short of actually doing drugs. Interestingly,
that's crazy. I'm actually this is a great video, by the way.
The reaction I experienced was the same reaction men talk about when they watch filmed explicit content. The depression, the difficulty focusing, the lethargy. Women who are addicted to this sexually explicit fiction don't even realize that they're literally addicted to, adult entertainment. Without exception, crazy. Men who are addicted to watching explicit content are viewed as bad. I shouldn't have to tell anyone watching this video how bad that is for the mind. It just happens that all the language surrounding this accepted fact says...
Yeah, that's the difference. I think we need to start shaming these people. For the most part, like if you have some dude with a porn addiction, everyone will agree that that's a bad thing. But you have these women that are addicted to these romantasy books about, fucking jerking off cows and then falling in love with the feminist cows. All right, for some reason, that's considered normal and fine.
Men's minds, how bad it is for men, how much damage it does to men. There have been countless studies done on the negative impact watching this stuff has on men's physical health and mental health, on their relationships, friendships, professional lives, and on their character. But basically 0 such studies have been done on women. Part of this is because most researchers won't acknowledge that women's addiction to erotic fiction is in any way comparable to a man's addiction to filmed erotic media.
Crazy.
Part of it is because there's so much feminist armor packed around women's erotica that even if a woman were to watch the hub 10 hours a day, she would still somehow be protected by the fact that she's empowering herself or, exploring her sexuality. For social political reasons, most people won't touch that with a 10-foot pole. When it comes to men, this kind of content is known to have an enormous negative impact on their daily lives. Therefore, there are countless resources out there to help men kick that habit and restore sanity to their lives. There's also a lot of shame among men. Men will mock other men for their addiction to this stuff. But for women, nothing. There are no resources to help women kick their addiction to erotic literature, at least none that I could find.
Scary.
And any woman...
It's not just are there no resources to get women to kick the addiction? I think it's worse. I think society is not only kind of putting this at the forefront for women to actually consume, but for whatever reason, these fucking people, you can call them globalists or whatever, you can call them the feminists, they are, in my opinion, doing this on purpose. Dude, the feminist movement really is cancer right now. It is pushing women into lethargy. It is telling women, no, you should not get married, you should not have kids, you should not have a family, you should just focus on your career. And they all end up sad and alone. It's unbelievable. And for whatever reason, the fucking corporate suits are pushing this shit.
And who feels shame when reading this stuff is said to be suffering from internalized misogyny
and
is advised to
If you feel shame for being addicted to fucking Minotaur cock, porn shit, guess what? You just have internalized misogyny. You need to have more respect for women.
Focus on overcoming the stigma by, reading more of these books. Other women will help her in this endeavor. To this end, there are
That's
romance
right.
books.
And then you have women that are also out there to stab each other in the back because no one will fucking cause the downfall of women like women. They out there telling each other, no, girl, you're not overweight. You look beautiful. And then they look like fucking shit. I'll be real. I'm not gonna pull punches here. Sometimes y'all kind of look like shit. Okay, I'm not trying to be rude here. And then you have women be like, no, girl, you look better than ever. Fucking fat ass. No one will be brave. No one will be brave.
Clubs with completely expected names in which the pursuit of women's fiction can be enjoyed without shame. I read one account from a young woman who said that when she realized she was addicted, she sought help from a therapist who treated the matter as if it was nothing serious at all.
Of course.
No different from like a chocolate addiction.
Of course.
Addiction to, appreciation of erotic literature is presented to women as female empowerment and whatever
so
various
empowering.
other hot words are part of the current feminist lexicon. If a woman were to express discomfort with the proliferation and increasing intensity of sexually explicit material in women's fiction, she is painted as an enemy, a prude, or my personal favorite, slave to the patriarchy. They'll say it allows women to explore their sexuality in a safe space. I'm pretty sure you could also say that men on the hub are exploring their sexuality in a safe space. I don't know. To which women will often argue, well, that kind of content, the stuff on the hub, is unethical. But that erotic literature, if they even concede that it's the same kind of content, is somehow ethical, meaning that, I'm assuming, no actors or actresses were harmed in its making. Be that as it may, the making of the explicit content is a separate issue from its consumption. I'm sure you could find an ethical
situation. It's not. I don't actually care about the ethics of this. As much as I care about the actual harm I think it's doing to society.
An environmentally friendly way to make heroin wouldn't make it a good thing for me to consume it. A lot of people these days talk about how social bias prevented women from enjoying romance literature. Well, now the social moral landscape has shifted again. If you're a woman and you're not a proud champion of smut, then you're the enemy of women. In general, though, I think the so-called social bias surrounding romance novels isn't much different from the bias surrounding all commercial fiction. I also don't think that's done that much to stop women from mass consuming romance novels. Champions of romance novels will present the acceptance of smut as crucial to female empowerment and independence. This is categorically false, and in fact I think I've shown how the opposite is true. But women will nevertheless be banished from female society by other women if they dare to disagree.
That's right.
Men typically...
Because women are out there destroying each other. We're living in a woman-eat-woman world. Not trying to be rude here or anything, but I think the number one issues that women have in society are caused by women. Not just the women's votes, not just what the women are actually promoting, but it's this idea that like you have this cripplingly unhappy woman doing their absolute best to convince other people to also be cripplingly unhappy. And all of these the old school feminists, like you'll have these 60-year-old bitter ladies, these fat bitter women alone and sad, and they're gonna tell young women to get careers and not get married and not have kids, and that it's better for you. And it's like, dog, you are a miserable bitch. Why are you giving them this advice if it's not purely to sabotage them? Like, it's insane.
Who watch hardcore stuff or who are addicted to it are ashamed of it. Women who are addicted to reading, as they call it, smut, are supposed to be proud of it. None of these women...
Of course they're supposed to be proud, because we're watching in real time the hoflation of society. We are. This is basic hedonism at its finest. I don't know what satanic ritual cult cum guzzlers are running society, but this is fucking insane.
Will allow any talk of shame. But here's the thing. Shame is not a bad thing. Shame is how our brains tell us we're doing something that will harm us. If we feel shame eating that fourth slice of triple chocolate cake in one sitting...
Shame is a good thing. Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's our brain telling us that this is bad for our health.
Yeah, and that's why I think we need to publicly shame these people. Because if they obviously don't have the impulse control to shame themselves, then we need to help them. I say for the sake of women, we need to make fun of them when they're gooners and when they're alone and sad and depressed and miserable because they don't want to get married. I think it's important. Absolutely. When you hear about a woman that doesn't actually want to get married and she would rather focus on a career, we should make fun of them. We should. They were brainwashed and they should be ashamed. I'll be real, I'm not trying to be rude here or anything. I'm doing it for them. This is what we call empathy, bitch. This is why this video is getting monetized, I've noticed.
If we feel shame because we haven't exercised in over 6 months, that's our brain telling us that we need physical exercise of some kind. If we feel shame when we take in hardcore explicit material, that's our brain telling us that this is going to harm us in some way and we need to stop. This is our brain trying to save us. Eventually, anyone can be desensitized to shame, but the effort to desensitize women to shame has been a lot more intensive than it has been for men.
I mean, I agree. Your average woman's a hoe. Absolutely. You're talking to women, bro, no one, how many virgins are out there? Come on, dude, what are we doing? Of course. They should be ashamed, bro. You marry a woman, she should be a virgin. My hot take, sorry, call me old school. But I don't want a fucking, salami that's been passed around the block. Sorry if the language is crude. I'm just trying to get this point across that, yes, we need to bring shame back. Absolutely bring shame back, goddammit. Fuck yeah, dude. They're not ashamed to be fucking whores. I'm sorry, I'm being real here.
Because historically, women have led the charge against indecent or sexually explicit material. So shame in women cuts into hardcore film producers and women's lit publishers' bottom line. Removing shame from women's minds doesn't just prevent them from bullying hardcore erotica production out of the mainstream, it mobilizes 50% of the spending force of the book market to obsessively consume something that is dangerously addictive. This is a huge reason why it's becoming increasingly common for harder and harder content in books to be made available to a younger and younger audience, especially a young female audience. You see incredibly steamy makeout scenes in books marketed to 12-year-old girls. Caraval, for example, has two...
But real, let's be honest. This is it's hoifying women. It's a system that's hoifying women at the age of 12. You have 12-year-old girls that are reading about this shit. Of course they're gonna get fucking passed around like a potato. Like, what are we talking about? Again, it's disgusting. It's so gross. It really is so disgusting. And for whatever reason, they're pushing this slop everywhere. It's the same as pushing, like, the gender ideology stuff to children. It is literally propagandizing people. And the authors obviously make money, right? So the authors are obviously happy about this because they're making a fuck ton of money. And society is more than happy to push it because they're more than happy with the hoification of women. They're more than happy about that shit. Nah, dude. It's time to shame people again. Like, I see so often, like, OnlyFans gets mentioned, right? And every girl wants to do OnlyFans now. They want to turn 18, become a whore, and make millions, right? That's literally, it's the dream. Not even exaggerating. It's literally the dream. And you'll see this in public discussions, and every single time you see the public discussion, every single time, it'll be like, I can't believe men are such simps. Imagine paying a girl for porn, for nudes, for a relationship, for messaging. This is so pathetic. I can't believe the men are such losers. And I'll be honest, they're completely right, the men are such losers. But the women are hoes. And I think that these two people both hold a lot to blame, without a shadow of a doubt. The men do be losers, but the women be hoes. And that loser could 2 years later decide, you know what, I'm going to man up, I'm going to be a good man, I'm going to make a living, I'm going to get married, I'm going to make a family. And that hoe's loose butthole is going to be all over the internet forever. So I think that absolutely, we got to make shame great again.
Prolonged passages that read like weird hand fetish scenes. This isn't some kind of accidental slip of the pen. This is intentional. Famously, Sarah J. Maas only allowed her book to be marketed to a YA audience if they didn't cut out any of the explicit material. Slap a feminist female empowerment sticker on the thing and you've got social...
Feminist female empowerment, and it's 15-year-olds having sex.
Armor no one is willing to touch, not even other women. Something I hear a lot is that...
All right, so now she's going to talk about women dominating the industry and sex dominating the industry, and that's not really why I wanted to watch this video. But that was a banger. She did a really good job breaking this down. By the way, there was recently this crazy situation that happened at this convention, the Sinners and Stardust convention, which is a convention for these books, right? Here, let me show you. Convention, right? So there was this convention that was done, and essentially they ended up basically sexually harassing the few men that actually showed up to these conventions. They just kind of attacked them and just started touching them inappropriately. Unbelievable. Misconduct and SA at Sinners and Stardust. All the fucking all the feminoids. The feminoids made these tragic videos.
It's Megan Beckett.
Oh my god, I can't believe this is so sad. All the misconduct and SA at Sinners at Stardust convention, because these are people that aren't actually understanding how reality works. These are people that their relationships are fake. Their relationships are online. Their relationships are with fictional characters. They are dating ChatGPT. This is a society that's getting fucked over. And realistically, it's disgusting. So thanks for coming here. Today I wanted to do a bit of an anti-woman video. We did a lot of anti-men videos. So it's time to do an anti-woman video, because women, y'all are kind of cooked. Figure this shit out, okay? You gotta figure this shit out. The fact that this is the #1 bestseller, it's absolutely mind-boggling, and it took me down a rabbit hole I didn't want to see at all. Yes, both Harris and Trump women have marriage and family lower than career in the level of importance. Even crazier is Harris men have family and marriage higher than Harris women. They don't value it at all, which is really sad. What's going on, ladies? Says the lady. So today was woman-on-woman violence. All right, we got specifically got women to call out other women, and me just to add some spice and call whores whores. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I definitely sort of had a time of all time. I had one of the times. So I wanted to talk about this because I feel like this is an underrepresented time for society. An underrepresented conversation is the fact that not only is this overly empathetic bullshit, murking society, right? You have this influx of illegal immigrants predominantly voted by empathetic retards. You have crash outs on TikTok every single week. Every time something happens, you get these liberal white women with nose rings and piercing crying about something else. But I think this is a major reason as to why these people, in my opinion, are having a really hard time with relationships. They really are. Because, bitch, you are never gonna date a 10'6" feminist rich minotaur. It's not gonna happen. Okay? And not only is it not gonna happen, but you are miserable. Even if you are gonna claim you're not miserable, you are. This empowerment shit needs to die. It's not empowering to be a whore. You should be ashamed. Bye. Like, subscribe, and this video was streamed live on kick.com/Nuxanor. See you there. Stay weird, fam.